Hello student, let us enter into the session 7. We are continuing with the same chapter, chapter number 3, matrices. Now first of all, we are going to revise the previous two topics. The reason is these two topics are very important. One of the topic which we did in the previous session was symmetric matrices. The definition of symmetric matrices was, which I told you in the previous session, was in a square matrix when you are finding the transpose, and if transpose is equal to given matrix, then it is called symmetric matrices. It's a revision topic, but being the important topic, we are revising again. Another one is the skew symmetric matrices. When you are finding the transpose of any matrix and it is equal to the negative of that matrix, then it is called skew symmetric matrix. Important condition is matrix which we are dealing with should be square matrix. So these are the two topics which we already completed in a previous session. Based on these two topics, we had two theorems, two very important theorems, and as I told you in the previous session also, many times we get a 3 to 4 marks question on these two theorems. One of the theorems says that the statement you go through the textbook, part of that theorem is, part of the statement of that theorem is, theorem number 1, if A is any square matrix, so when you add A with A dash means transpose of matrix, so whatever the answer you are going to get, that is called symmetric matrix. So A plus A dash is equal to symmetric matrix, theorem number 1. Statement, a nice statement is given in your book. Proof is not required, as I told you in the previous session. Similarly, theorem number 2 says that when you are finding the difference of A with its transpose, A minus A dash, your answer will be skew symmetric matrix. So suppose if I give you any square matrix A, and then if I say make it symmetric matrix, you can easily make it by adding that matrix with a transpose. I will show you with one example, one question from the exercise. Theorem 2, you only remember the statement. Theorem 2 says that A minus A dash is equal to skew symmetric matrix. But modified form of this theorem 1 and theorem 2 is, if a single matrix is given and they are asking you to break up that matrix in the form of both symmetric and a skew symmetric matrix, then how you can do? One very important conclusion is given just below theorem number 1 and theorem number 2. A single square matrix is given and they are asking you to express both in the form of a symmetric matrix and skew symmetric matrix. Then how you can do? There is one formula given, half A plus A dash and half A minus A dash. What does it mean? A plus A dash means you will get a symmetric matrix, half of it, and A minus A dash means you will get a skew symmetric matrix. Half of this together will be equal to A matrix. Last year it was, this type of question was there in the question paper. A simple matrix was given in the order of 3 cross 3. Any question, 3, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 9 in a order of 3 cross 3. And question for a 3 marks was, convert this given matrix in the form of a skew matrix and a symmetric matrix. Then you can do it with the help of this formula. So since this topic was very important, so I took it as a revision topic, and based on this topic, 1 or 2 questions are given in a exercise also. So in exercise 3.3, on page number 89, exercise 3.3, first of all I took one easy question. There is one matrix is given of order 2 cross 2. Now whatever we are doing, everything will be of a square matrix only. So if, it is given in question, A is 1, 5, 6, 7 of order 2 cross 2, and they are asking you that what you are going to get when you will add A with A dash. Obviously, according to that theorem, you are going to get symmetric matrix, that we are going to verify. Not only verify, we are going to prove it. Similarly, the second part of the question is find A minus A dash. According to the theorem, automatically you will get skew symmetric matrix. So come on, first of all we'll solve. Question is very simple, but suppose if it comes in exam, they will not give you order 2 cross 2, then they will give you in order 3 cross 3. So come on, how we are going to do? First of all, as soon as question is given, question is A is equal to 1567, then find its transpose. What is the transpose? You interchange row into the column. This row becomes a column, this row becomes a column. So this is your transpose of matrix. Now you add A with A dash. A is here and A dash here. You add it up. Whatever the answer you are going to get, you check whether it's symmetric or non-symmetric. As soon as you will interchange this rows and column, then you will get the same matrix. What is the definition of symmetric matrix? When you find the transpose of any matrix and it is equal to A, then it is symmetric matrix. So see, A plus A dash, 1 plus 1 2, 5 plus 6 11, 6 plus 5 11, 7 plus 7 14. You change or interchange the rows and column, you will get the same matrix. It means that you got a symmetric matrix. Suppose if this question is for 3 marks, then they will give you question of order 3 cross 3. This is question number 8 of your textbook. Second part is find the A minus A dash and verify whether it is skew symmetric matrix or not. So come on. Now again subtract A with minus A dash. Here we got a minus A dash and A is already given. So when you subtract 1 minus 1, 0. 5 minus 6, minus 1. 6 minus 5, 1. 7 minus 7, 0. So see, principal diagonal 0, 0. Then two opposite terms are differ with the minus sign. When you find it's a transpose, you are going to get the same answer. It means that it's a skew symmetric matrix. So this question number 8 is very important and it supports the theorem number 1, theorem number 2 as well as this 2 definition. Let us start one more topic after doing this question. You practice some of the example given in your textbook. Some harder question I am going to take it in our next session. Now continuing with the same session, some theoretical part we are going to pick up. One very important theoretical part is the elementary operation or transformation of a matrix. This part is very important. Our next chapter in determinant also, some part of this will be useful. So remember 3 points of this elementary operation. Once you know how to use these letters, it will be very useful to you to solve many questions of this chapter. Again I am repeating, and the coming chapter also. So one by one. First one is, again the heading is article 3.7, elementary operations or transformation of a matrix. You can transform one matrix into the other by some elementary operations. One of the operation is operation number 1 according to a book. Statement is given, the interchange of the 2 rows or 2 columns can be done. Suppose in any question, if you want to interchange 2 rows, row 1 with row 2 or row 1 with row 3 or column 1 with column 2, you can do it, but then you will have to mention it. For example, there are symbols given in your book. One of the symbol is, suppose if you are interchanging ith row, ith means any number of rows, ith row into jth row, then how you are going to write? This symbol is very important. While solving the question, we are going to utilize this symbol. So what this symbol says, no need of writing this complete statement here onwards. For example, how this symbol can be utilized? Suppose if I write R1 interchange R3, what does it mean? Suppose if any matrix is given and if you want to interchange the first row with the third row, why we are supposed to do that, you will learn during the solution of a question. Suppose during the solution of question, you required first row in the place of third row or vice versa, you can do with the help of operation number 1. But side by you will have to use this letter. Again, how to read out this letter? R ith row can be interchanged into the jth row. Similarly, we can interchange the column also. It's not given on the board, but it is there in your textbook. Suppose if you want to interchange column, ith column interchange into the jth column, that can be done in this way. but you will have to write C in the place of R. So first property is very simple. The purpose of this property, while doing the question you are going to realize, but remember symbols. If suppose I write C2 interchange C3, it means that second column will be interchanged with the third column and vice versa. So first property, first elementary operation is operation number 1. We can interchange row with a row, column with column as per the need, but no need of writing that complete statement, utilize this symbol. Second property, if you want to multiply in any question, suppose during the solution of a question, if you want to multiply any rows or a column with some constant, non-zero number, then no doubt you can do it, but you will have to write it in symbolically like this. Symbolically, how you can write? Suppose ith row is to be multiplied by k, where k is non-zero number, then how you are going to write? Ith row by k. So how you are going to write? Ri and implies to, operated in this way, kri. What does it mean? All the members of a ith row will be multiplied with k. Similarly, if you want to multiply jth column with a k, how you are going to write? Cj operated in the form of kcj. One of the example I have selected, suppose A is given 3529 and somebody is asking me to multiply first row with 3. So no need of using that sentence. Don't use that sentence. Rather you write like this. First row is to be multiplied with a non-zero constant, suppose 3. So you write like this. Automatically you will come to know that all the members of first row will be multiplied with 3. So come on, new matrix will be in the form of 3 3s are 9, 3 5s are 15. Don't touch the second row or don't modify the second row. So this is one of the examples. Similarly, if you are asked to multiply any column, suppose here in the same example, if somebody is asking you to replace second column by 2C2, then do one thing. 3 2 you don't touch it, 3 2 you leave it as it is, but second column multiply with 2. So new matrix will be in the form of A, the new matrix, A 3 2 as it is, then 5 2s are 10 because 2C2 and 9 2s are 18. So new one will be 3 2 and 10 18. So this is also one very important operation which we are going to apply in a coming exercise. Third and the most important operation is, it is going to be very useful in this chapter again and in the coming chapter. The statement is very long, but when you are going to utilize, you will familiar with this statement. What the statement says that addition of the elements of any row, suppose in any question, you require to add the elements of any row with some other row, not only addition. If you want to subtract also, suppose any row is given, if the elements of any row is given, and if you want to add this elements of a rows with some other rows or the multiple of other rows, that you can do it very easily. Here they are using the word addition, but subtraction also can be done. Otherwise you take that elements as a negative one. So again I am repeating the statement, then I will support with one example. What is that statement? Go through that statement in your textbook also. Remember the statement because it is very useful to solve many questions. So that statement is the addition of the elements of any rows or column with the corresponding elements of any other row or column multiplied by non-zero number. This is not necessary, but you will have to show that you are multiplying with some non-zero number. Ideal non-zero number is 1. If you want to simply add, then no need of writing 1, but you can add 2 rows. So what is the facility given by this third property or third operation? If you want to add elements of any row with the element of some other rows, you can do with the help of this. But most important thing is, every now and then you are not going to use this big sentence. Then one symbolically this statement is written in this way. First of all, let me read out that symbol. Ith row can be written in the form of ith row plus k times of jth row. Suppose if you want to add elements of jth row with ith row, you can do it with the help of this property. No need of writing this big statement. Symbolically, in the short form, you can write it in this way. So once more I am repeating, ith row can be added with the jth row with the help of this symbol, with the help of this formula. I usually call it as a formula only. Same thing you can do for a column also. Suppose there is ith column, and if you want to add with some other column, then it can be done in this way: ith row plus k times of jth row. Only one important thing is k should not be equal to 0. Let me support this with one example. One example I have chosen from my side, then we'll see from a textbook also afterwards. Suppose I got a one matrix A is equal to 5, 9, 3, 2, and somebody is asking me to replace row 2 by row 2 plus thrice of R1. What does it mean? I want to replace row 2 by row 2 plus thrice R1. So what I am going to do? I am not going to touch first row. First row will be as it is, 5, 9. But row 2 will be multiplied, will be converted in this way. Multiply thrice R1 with the first row. So 3 5s are 15. Add with this 3. So it will become 18. Then 3 times of 9, that is 27. Add with 2. Then you will get a new matrix. And in that matrix we applied this operation. Most important operation, again I am telling you, is the third one. With the help of third one and second one, we can second and first one, we can solve many questions which we are going to see in a coming session. Same type of thing we can do with the help of column also. We can operate the same property in a column. If anybody is asking me to replace C1 by C1 plus 2C1, so how I am going to do? I will not touch column 1, but I will not touch the column 1, but I will replace that column 1 by C1 plus twice of C2 actually. So multiply all the members of C2 with 2. So 9 2s are 18, 18 plus 5 23, then 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 3 7, and don't touch this C2. This way you can operate this matrices, and where to use, how to use, that we are going to see in a second session.